You know what we need? More mobile games that turn into 3D nightmares. What do you get when you take a game targeted towards adults and build it for a system targeted towards children and families? You get the mess that is Miami Nights Singles in the City. It was originally created for mobile games, which was pretty well received overall, and sports very different visuals compared to its 3D counterpart. Like most DS ports, this game ended up falling flat of living up to its predecessor's name. Taking one look at the cover can already tell you all you need to know about this game. It's not for kids. The European box art even has a bikini-clad woman on it. No one would sanely allow their kid to own and play this game. How exactly this game ended up on the DS, I'll probably never know, other than it must have been ridiculously easy to publish games on the console. Now, what exactly am I talking about, you wonder? Are there sex scenes, drugs, alcohol? Well, yes and no. This is the DS we're talking about, and a game that was rated teen. Everything has either been toned down or renamed to avoid getting slapped with an M rating or just being straight up denied from publishing due to Nintendo's no adult only games rule on the handheld. However, all of the dots are super easy to connect. But let's start at the beginning. The first thing you have to do is create your character. I'm sorry, is that... Is that a MIDI version of I Like to Move It by Reel to Reel? Is that honestly what I'm being forced to listen to right now? Okay. After coming to terms that this game's music is going to be extremely questionable, you create your character with such limiting options that I don't even know why they bothered with the creation system to begin with. After you finalize your fantasy self, you're seen living it up as a super famous celeb in Miami with adoring fans and more money than you'd ever need. Then, in a predictable move, you wake up in a rundown apartment with your neighbor telling you that you're just an absolute mess. Cause you know, that's what all neighbors do. However, he's apparently here to help me become more than just a dreamer, but first we have to pay our extremely angry landlord our rent $100? Your rent is only $100 in Miami? And you're struggling to pay it? No, our neighbor is right. We're a giant mess and we need to sort our stuff out. Our neighbor sends us out to get a job, and after making friends with someone by complimenting them twice, we make $235 by breaking and cleaning a couple of dishes. With our landlord off our back and $135 in our pocket, our neighbor sets us up with 3 options for a blind date. You have stereotypical jock bro, stereotypical player bro, or man who likes to read and write. We meet up with our bookworm at the beach, and after complimenting him twice and dancing with him at the club, we head back to my place where he asks if we want to get freaky. Our neighbor chimes in that he only wants to get with us, and we can break up with him if we want. But I think the better of him and try and find a yes, I want to get, quote, freaky with you. The only option is make out, so I try that, but dude bails on us, saying we won't work out. So after reloading and telling him it's over, I learned that there's no freaky option. No woohoos, no nothing. This game stops short of letting us sleep with the entire city, which is a fairly questionable decision, as later on in the game you wake up after a party to a random dude in your bed with only his boxers on, clearly implying you slept with them. I know they didn't include the option to keep the rating down, and so it didn't encourage impressionable people to sleep with random strangers for personal gain, but still. This game keeps us on this linear path for quite some time. Our neighbor calls after completing a task to set us on a new one, never letting us feel like we're truly exploring for ourselves, and instead just being pushed into the next area. The game also forces us to make money, as quite a few quests have us buying something or upgrading our place to be more presentable. And every job option isn't even that fun, from the 2 minigames that earn a respectable amount of early game cash to the jacuzzi job that pays $500 every time, but with the side effect of having to leave the building and re-entering before being allowed to bathe it up again. Our next mission is to impress some random dude at a club that only lets you in if you're sexy enough, so after struggling with a poorly done makeup minigame, I flaunt my way into... Dude, hold on, is that David Albarn? Excuse me, sorry, are you David Albarn? Oh man, I'm a big fan. I love Gorillaz and that woohoo song. Look, I'm a little busy right now, but I'll come back for you. Don't you worry about that. Like, I'll call you when I'm famous. Anyways, we compliment our way into the VIP room of the fancy club and talk with a dude named Charles, but he won't chat with us until we get some vitamins. And where are we going to get vitamins, you ask? Well, in the back alleyway from this vitamin dealer, of course. It's drugs. It's 100% drugs. They call the legal drugs vitamins to keep the rating down instead of just not having them in the game. Like, come on. We give the vitamins to Charles, who then invites us to his museum, where we discover that we have the final rare and a valuable piece for his collection that he gives us a villa for, which, if I'm being completely honest, isn't that much if the painting is the most important thing in the world to him. One party and money spending spree later, we're talking up Maurizio. One party and money spending spree later, we're talking up Maurizio, a popular band manager who eventually gets us a backstage pass to the show of a popular band. We have to impress the singer with our sweet mixing skills in a minigame that I have no idea how to play. I thought I had read the instructions right, but it seemed to just randomly decide if I had done it right or not. I did manage to do it though, and the singer was so impressed that he gave me his boat. A boat that we now have to use to impress a local producer, who won't even get on our boat unless we have a high enough dance skill. And let me tell ya, boosting up your skills in this game is a pain in the butt. The easiest one to raise is your smartness, but everything else is increased so incrementally that it becomes a boring chore that you spend a good hour trying to find an action replay code to cheat instead of actually raising that skill. And after the crushing realization that there is no cheat for the US version, you end up playing a dance party montage, including finding a dude half dead on the floor who refuses to dance with you, and then collapses in front of you after exiting the chat window. After a good while of dancing with random strangers, impressing the producer with our boat, and complimenting him into becoming friends with us, he sets us up with our first gig, that we have to have even more dance skill to do. So... After our gig, the landlord calls us and tells us everything is cool and that we don't have to pay rent, despite us not living in that old apartment anymore. Our neighbor informs us that to continue climbing that social ladder, we have to buy a yacht and throw a raging party while inviting a big-name producer that eventually asks to see the rest of our yacht. Wink wink nudge nudge. But remember, this game is teen, so instead of sleeping with the producer to make it big, we just show them our awesome makeout skills, which lands us a contract with famous musician Elton, who demands even more dancing skill. Come on, man! Eventually, we manage to compliment him into working with us, and we throw on a sweet concert. Man, after that, I can't wait to see— what? This is the cutscene from the beginning of the game. Was that all a dream? Did the game reset? Oh, no, it's just their way of showing that your dream has come true. Which means, yep, the game is over. Our neighbor even calls us and tells us that we're a jet setter now, and that we can enjoy being famous and keep earning and spending money for the rest of our lives. But what to do with my new jet setter lifestyle? My character said it herself. I've got everything I could possibly want. Except one thing that I can't buy. One person I promised to never forget, who is always waiting in the wings. Oh, Damon. Finally. Truly, I have everything. Except for a good post-game. This game was boring, linear, and repetitive. No life in any of the characters, any interesting risque themes taken out to keep the teen rating, an all-knowing character that wouldn't let you figure things out for yourself, a dull collection of clothes to dress your character, just as lifeless furniture with no option to decorate your places how you prefer, and a money-making system that was so boring and tedious I cheated in infinite money very early on to speed up gameplay. Oh, and may I add, by cheating in the money, this game only lasted 3 hours with no replayability whatsoever. Because I didn't grab the numbers of any of the important characters, I wasn't even able to meet up and interact with them post-game as well. They all just cease to exist, and no one reacts differently around you after you become super famous, all acting just as lustful as they did before. This game honestly feels like a beta version for a better game. It could have been better. Better clothing options, more interesting main characters, more freedom to figure out how to become famous on our own, letting us move furniture around, and even better looking furniture to begin with. Having smaller characters react differently to your fame and stardom, a better relationship system that isn't just compliment, make out, break up. So much more could have been done, and as a result, the game is a repetitive mess with characters with such awful same-face syndrome that it could be an allegory for how celebrities with fat heads see their fans as all the same. Literally the only good part of this game was that I got to work my love for gorillas and Damon Albarn into it. Like, that is the only good thing this game had going for it. Next time I'll try and get Jamie Hewlett in there too. Then it'll be a party.